Live?
Oh, right? There, but I figure we need to do it just for the sake of consistency. Maybe on a Sunday afternoon, it's a little more easier for people to see us. Whatever. 0. Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe on a Sunday afternoon you get a different version of Johnny. We shall see.
Oh, no. Wait. I like the Johnny we have so far that wants to be done in 5 minutes. That's it. That dude's ambitious. He's a hustler. We'll just do fake comments. Go.
1980s now.
Hey, welcome back to another edition of Another edition? It's like a newspaper now. Another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. Hey, everybody, my name is Will, and joining me, as always, are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John. Hello.
Hello, friends.
You can call me Weekend John. Different John on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Hi, though. Hi. Yeah.
Huh.
Different version.
All right. So I think what we have to now spend the next hour evaluating is,
Yes.
what
Which
the
one do you like
differences
better?
are. Yeah, and which
Yeah.
we'll take a vote, Kat, at the
What's
end.
Yeah.
different?
Hopefully it won't be tied.
Split personality.
Hey, we are officially in October. And look, I was already
Yeah.
feeling kind of, again,
Spooky.
yeah, that sort of spooky season, is upon us. And I've already crammed in a couple of more horror movies. Maybe at some point we could talk about. I know we've all seen now. What movie did we watch? Salem's Lot.
Yes, that.
Mm.
And that other one, the violence, something about violence in the woods.
In a
What
Violent
is it?
Nature.
Oh, you watched
The
that.
Violent
Oh, right,
Nature.
right.
I did.
Okay. What did you
Mhm.
think about In a Violent Nature?
I actually laughed at it a lot.
All right, look. Kat, I mean, we could be honest, right? I mean,
Especially the yoga kill.
look, yes.
This is hilarious.
No, I was horrified by the yoga kill.
Okay.
Definitely horrified.
But it's possible you're laughing.
This is funnier than The Thing.
Yeah, that Kat infamously laughed at, I think the most horrifying scene, one of the most horrifying in all of cinema. The chest bursting scene in The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just a way of dealing with scary things?
I think it could be. You might
Okay.
be
Coping
onto
mechanism?
something.
Yeah.
It could be a coping mechanism. Yep.
I mean, I would love to see it if it's just like the kind of laughing and fun we have here, or you're just like full out.
Funny.
Yeah,
It's
or
funny.
more tepid,
I'm
yeah.
laughing.
Or just
I chuckle and then
Okay.
I'll look over at whoever I'm watching with, like, like to see if they thought it was funny too. I
or she's Robert De Niro in Cape Fear laughing at Problem Child. Remember that scene? He's in the theater. All right, we'll have to find out. How we doing?
Intriguing.
Oh,
Hey,
Brandon
yeah, hello, Brandon. Hey,
Butter.
butter.
and Butter.
All right.
And Marcus.
Yeah, and Marcus is here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, were you laughing because the movie was dumb all the way through? Yeah, Marcus does not like that film.
No, he did not.
And if you're joining us live, say hello so we know you're there. Otherwise, we don't know you're there. All right. Hey, so speaking of spooky thing, you gonna say something, John?
I was just saying hello because I'm here.
Oh, hey, John.
Weekend
John, man, he's
Weekend
just
John.
he's a blast so far.
He's ready to rock and roll. I
He
tell
is.
you
Oh,
what.
there he
Oh.
goes.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
People were working
Sorry.
for the weekend, and
Oh,
Johnny's, I don't know, every day's a
Good.
weekend
Oh,
for
yeah.
Weekend
He's
John.
about to go off the rails there.
ready.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
speaking of horror
Okay,
movies
there.
and it's the spooky season, I just really, just love it so much. On today's show, I'm going to be sharing with you the true story of the Montauk Project, the long-rumored secret program that peaked in 1983 when it tore a hole in time-space.
Really?
Tore, is that the right phrase? Way to say it? Tore a hole in space.
It tore
and
a
time.
hole. That wow.
Tore a hole. I don't know. Whatever. You'll hear it. It's an interesting story. And we'll get into some of those details. That's all I want to say at the moment. Hey, but before that, we're going to review current news stories related to 1980s media, including The Boo Buckets are back. I've talked about these once before, but it's kind of a curious phenomenon happening, it seems, this time around. I want to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
We've got some new Star Trek action figures beaming down, beaming up. Oh, John's already. Weekend Johnny
eyes.
likes Star Trek too.
Even Weekend John likes Star Trek.
Yeah,
He does. Yeah, he's a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we're going to be talking about how 3-time Oscar nominee Frank Darabont is coming out of retirement. He famously or infamously or notoriously retired. I don't know how long ago it was. A long time ago. 10 years?
10 years? I think it was 10 years.
Yeah. But he's coming back out of retirement, and it's kind of cool, I think. All right, hey,
Tickle pink.
let's get started on 1980s news. Hey, as I just mentioned, this week on 1980s news per NJ.com, McDonald's famous 80s Blue Buckets are back for a limited time. They can't help it, right? I mean, look, the Buckets have developed somewhat of a cult following over the years, with fans of the fast food chain looking forward to the release each year. Now, we know they did take a break in 2016, but they had been going strong since first introduced in 1986. And once they return in 2022, they've now been back every year.
Also known as a bucket break.
Yeah.
Break for the buckets.
Starting on October 15th, the Blue Buckets will replace the traditional Happy Meal themed packaging, and as they've done every year, I mean, why get it at all? They could double as a trick-or-treat container. And you eat the meal first.
Oh,
We suggest here at 1980s Now. You eat the Happy Meal first, empty the bucket out, and then there you go.
Or alternately, carry your ice cold Happy Meal around with you on Halloween night.
Yeah.
Here, have a fry. It's room temperature.
You gave me a chunky, have a fry.
have a bite, have a chicken nugget for my almond joy.
Have a bite, just a bite.
You have a
Just a bite
burger
of my
and there are 3
burger.
bites out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just keep turning
could
it if you're worried about germs.
Or the trick could be throwing rancid nuggets at the house. Well, they don't get rancid. They notoriously last forever. But if they did,
chocolate. Oh, that's true. If they did,
That's right,
Yeah.
The McDonald's Blue Buckets, which come in white, orange, green, and blue, also come with stickers, so children can customize their buckets. Now, so children can customize buckets. Now, but and I point that out only because on we got this covered.com, they highlight the fact that, and they say it this way, that maybe McDonald's foolishly assumes that only children of trick-or-treating age are privy to Happy Meal's indulgence. Because folks apparently don't like these buckets, and they take it to social media to complain about the latest incarnation of them. I've got some quotes for you here. Hate this year's design. Sorry. The originals had lids with removable center that helped keep your candy in the bucket when trick-or-treating. The new ones don't have lids at all, just a fancy handle, which is less function. And our favorite, which, is the headline of this, we got this covered. If their target audience was a landfill, congrats.
nice job.
Yeah.
I want to know about the lid part. Like, what are they doing with their buckets that their candy is going to go flying out? Why? Who else has a lid on their candy? I don't understand the need for the lid.
Well, the traditional Boo Buckets, it was more like a completing the shape of the bucket.
Okay.
And there was still like a, 4 or 5 inch diameter hole in the top where you could throw candy in or reach your little paw in and get some candy out. Beyond not even having lids this year, they have these almost like fake for the photo op lids, like the shape of the top of a lid, but it's flat and it hangs between the two arms of the handle.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Who's happy about that fake lid thing? Like, put in a lid or don't.
Right.
That's just dumb.
Yeah, but and I think your question is interesting, Kat, because it just points out that the fact that the folks that are worried about all these things are adults. Yes. Children are not on social media mostly. They shouldn't be. Certainly of the age that they'd want a Blue Bucket. But these people seem to be complaining on their own behalf. Not my kids.
Right.
My kids crying because there's no lid this year. Your kids don't give a shit. You get them a Happy Meal, they're overjoyed. The fact that they can use it to carry candy around, bonus. And they get to put stickers on it. I mean, this is covering 3 things that kids love.
Yes.
But Miss Cat, this one doesn't have a lid, so I can't trick or treat with it.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of Cat's
Boom.
students are
Ma'am.
more mature. That's what it's true. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think kids are probably fine with the boo buckets, would be my guess.
Probably.
And also, kids are nostalgic for the 1980s ones. They don't even know.
No.
You know what the kids are going to be most excited about? The stickers.
Right.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
there's a sheet of stickers. You're going to get 3 stickers on a bucket, and the rest of them you will find throughout the year scattered around the house on the walls.
Right.
So,
Or unwittingly
there's like little
stuck-
wings and little
stuck to your
fangs and little
clothing.
pumpkins and
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. They'll be
Yeah, hang on.
decorating.
Come over here for a second. You got bat teeth on your shirt. or whatever.
I wondered where that was. Damn.
This year, McDonald's has got some competition in the Halloween bucket category because Dunkin'
Oh.
recently released their Halloween Munchkin buckets. All right, you got my attention now as an adult.
Oh,
You get a purple bucket illustrated with Halloween decorations. That's whatever.
okay.
What?
Munchkin.
It's filled with an assortment of 50 Munchkin Dunkin' holes.
All right.
Trick or treat, bitches.
Exactly.
I mean,
don't even have
Happy
to have
Meal's
the house to
great,
get any
but
treats.
Ah, that's right.
Munchkins.
That's right. You can have your apple slices and whole milk. I'm going to
Right.
Dunkin'.
And
Happy
like
Meal.
6 fries when you get the Happy Meal size. It's terrible. There's-
Wow. Dunkin', really?
Yeah.
All
Have you
right.
seen
through.
have you seen their what does their bucket look like? Any better? Not that it matters. It's got munchkins in it, but does it look?
Is
It's
there a picture?
purple.
It's just
Okay.
purple? Okay.
Oh, let's look it up.
I'm on
See,
board.
Dunkin'
On board
Donuts.
with the purple.
Purple Dunkin'
These
Donuts.
stickers. Not that they need them. Again, we have
Blue.
donut holes.
I'll take Munchkins over stickers. Yeah. Good trade off there.
Let's find a picture quickly.
Is there a
here. Oh,
handle
this-
and a lid?
Yeah, this one
on
looks
this
more like
Munchkin?
what we're
Okay.
hoping for here.
Oh.
Really?
How do I
Take that, McDonald's.
just have an image though? Why don't they just have an image of it? Oh, here we go. All right, look, this is what we're talking about here.
All right.
Let me just drag this on here, and hopefully this week I can share.
What's a still? That's easier.
Yeah. No
That's a tiny
copyright
picture.
issues with a video.
Oh my
of a-
god, this is horrible. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was like, really? You know what? I can just share this webpage. That's what I'll do.
Lay it on us.
All right, here you go.
I'm eager to see Will's other tabs.
Present.
Oh, are you?
Closing all those. Close. Share screen.
He's closing them now.
Close,
Control
close,
W,
close,
Control
close.
W,
This
Control
one?
W.
Yeah. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, fine out loud. Now an ad pops up just as I try to steer it. There's too many buttons to press. I pressed
right.
add. It has been appearing. Is it?
Oh.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, there we go.
So it's
Okay.
not so much a character, it's the spirit of Halloween in general with their bucket.
Yeah.
Look at all the
It's little Munchkin shaped.
Oh, now we get an ad.
Munchkin shaped witch and a
Right now,
Munchkin shaped pumpkin, which is already kind of Munchkin shaped.
Are we watching Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, why are we watching?
YouTube
Oh,
Premium.
all right, forget this.
Oh.
All right, enough of that. All right, hey, in other 1980s news, as reported
But
on
wait, I
Star
want to talk
Trek.
more about the Munchkins because you had the photo,
okay.
and then I
Yeah.
saw it was all these different Munchkins. I saw a chocolate one with orange sprinkles, and it's like a
Right.
variety of
Mhm.
donut holes.
Ooh.
Now I don't care so much about the bucket color or the characters on it or anything. It's just
Yeah,
when does that start? I want that now.
Yeah, I don't see. Does it have a date here?
Weekend
I don't have a
John
date
is
here,
hungry.
Yeah, I'm ready for donut holes. It's
All right, we'll
Sunday.
do that later. After the show right now. We'll go get some Dunkin'.
Okay, I'm in.
The country runs on it. All right. Hey, as another 1980s news, as reported by StarTrek.com, or as John calls it, a porn site.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a new Star Trek action figure line coming from Nacelle, for our buddies over there. The Nacelle company. You folks remember there's the ones who brought us those really cool documentaries. I mean, speaking of Star Trek, they have the Center Seat.
That's right.
55 years of Trek, and the toys that made us, the movies that made us, and those. Well, they've struck a deal with Paramount to create a new line of action figures based on the iconic Star Trek franchise. Uh-oh, John's already got his money in his hand.
Nobody else is doing it. Like Playmates had it. They put out some throwbacks and like, where is my Captain Pike? Right?
Oh.
Where are my new characters? And I know they're kind of digging deep in the library, but hopefully they'll catch up.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to take a little while to get around to stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Well,
but
aren't they
yeah,
taking feedback from fans? I think I
That's
saw
true.
something about that. Get your word in, John. Weekend, John.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly what we're going to see yet, but we do know that their figures are going to be inspired by the fan favorite characters and moments from the Star Trek shows and films over the entire iconic run of the nearly 60-year franchise. Yeah, we don't know yet. The list that was provided was basically every Star Trek movie or TV show ever made.
So it could come from anything. Yeah.
Give me anything, which is good news, I suppose.
Can I share with you my Star Trek action figure addiction? I'm a recovering Star Trek action figure addict.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
When I was in college, 89, 90, 91, 92, right in there, that range, you know, it was the 6 years I went to college, in that range somewhere. That was the heyday of Star Trek The Next Generation. And
Yes.
Playmates Toys had the license. They were putting out these 3 3/4 inch figures. And in my little apartment in college, one wall you could not see. Every action figure I got on the card, pinned up with a push pin.
Wow.
Because first it was a wave of 7, and I put them up there, and that looks great. And then they came out with another wave of another 15. I'm like, let's add them to the wall. Until I was wrapping around the room. It was from the top of the couch to the ceiling of my apartment in college. Nothing but Star Trek action figures. At this point, they're all in tubs in the attic. But for a time, I had a sickness.
Now, do you, at this point in your life, do you have a roommate?
On and off. On and off period.
That
I had
wasn't
one that
challenge.
was trying to drop out, so he wasn't always there. But it was a 1 bedroom, and so he had the bedroom, and so basically the living room was my room.
Oh,
Therefore, I could just decorate it how I wanted, and he just had to deal with it. So yeah.
yes, yes.
Did you have a girlfriend, or did they all run screaming?
She was in the Star Trek club.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So she never left.
And they lived happily ever after.
Yeah, that's right. It worked out.
I was wondering if your on and off roommate meant that they, walked in and they were like, "Oh no,
I'm out.
No.
Keep the rent this month. Fine." Yeah, like Kat mentioned, in addition to including, stuff I'm sure that the company's already planning, they're also going to be seeking ideas from the Star Trek fans on which characters they would like to see in future waves to complete their collections. Per Brian Volkweiss, the founder of the Nacelle company,
BV Dubs.
as he says, quote, as a lifelong Star Trek fan who somehow made it through Chekhov's SETI eel scene at the ripe old age of 6, thanks, Mom.
Ooh, wow.
Who would go on to name his company after a term every Trek fan is familiar with? Nacelle.
help, please,
Yeah.
help." What does that
What?
mean?
Nacelle?
Yeah.
So if you look at any, you want to get this one, Will, or can I get it either way?
Oh, you can get it. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So if you look at any Star Trek vessel, predominantly in some variation, there is a saucer section. It looks like UFO, right? There's an engineering hull, which is like the center cylinder.
Okay.
And then sticking off these stalks are the blue glowy engine things.
Ooh.
Right? You know what I'm talking about on the Enterprise? A pair
Yes.
of blue glowy engine things. Those are called warp nacelles. Those are the parts of the engine that create the warp bubble that allow them to travel at faster than light speed by leaping through holes in space-time.
Wow. Hey, that's really cool. And do you pronounce it nacelle or nacelle?
Nacelle, either one.
Either
I've
is
heard of
fine.
both.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah.
It's a learning moment.
Yes.
So, yeah. And so you see how much, of a true fan Brian Volkweiss is. He concludes his quote by saying, "I'm starting to think I'm in the best holodeck program ever made."
Oh, wow.
Living his best life. Yeah. Yep. Now, look, we're all, even though folks are all excited, or certainly, it's very exciting. There's a lot of exciting positives, I should say. The website Red Shirts Always Die points out that there's still a few things to bear in mind. For one, there's a concern that the Nacelle's Star Trek line will be like one of the recent licensees and stop production after a year or two.
Oh.
And John, I'm not sure why that would be a problem, though, because I would think that would only make what you are able to get more valuable.
Yeah, I think it is the scarcity. Probably there's that feeling that now I have a gun to my head, a phaser to my head, if you will. Is that when it comes up for sale?
That's just done, everybody.
I've got to buy it, even if I'm not sure if I want it, because I won't get a chance to make my decision later. So it gives a collector that, son of a, I got to buy them all now because I can't get them next year. You know, I don't even want that one, but I'm not going to miss out now. It's one of those, it's frustrating for collectors. It hurts the pocketbook.
And then Red Shirts Always Die also points out that this leads to another issue, that the action figures currently priced by Nacelle, including a resurrection of Biker Mice from Mars, are a bit pricey with an MSRP of $34.99 US for which similar size 6-inch action figures, which is in contrast to other lines by other brands who charge retail about $25.
Wow, yeah.
Or if you're College Johnny, $5.99 a pop.
Well.
Were those smaller? I guess they were. You said they were.
They were like 3 3/4 inch, 4 inch, something like that. They were
like a typical Star Wars figure.
It turns out I have it here.
Data could beat Darth Vader's butt.
The Playmates toys were 4.5 inch.
4.5. Okay, even taller.
That's the other thing the Red Shirts point out is that they may be fans may be disappointed that the scale won't be the same. So you can't have these two sets maybe exist in the same world while you're playing with them. I mean,
screwed up my diorama.
Oh, okay, you diorama. Well, this guy's closer in we're in the foreground, so he looks bigger.
It's forced perspective thanks to Nacelle's new scaling.
Yeah.
I don't think they could beat up Chewbacca though.
Mm-hmm.
No, but probably your Jawa.
Probably.
And finally, they say that the Playmates tried to resurrect their 4.5-inch line a few years ago, and they noticeably stopped after the initial wave. The trend has been moving towards 6-inch figures for years. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
More stuff I have to buy, allegedly.
It's tough. It's tough out there. It's tough
John,
being an adult.
Yes. John, you mentioned one that you'd like to see. Are there any others that you would request or give feedback on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, Brian, since you're listening and do regularly, man, Playmates did such a great job of finding like little moments for episodes. It wasn't so much memorable characters, but like they would do Worf as a cowboy from a holodeck program in this one episode kind of thing. They did some really neat stuff like that.
Yeah.
The things that are missing is everything really, save maybe 4 figures out there, everything post Discovery. There's nothing out there. There's like a Michael Burnham and a Saru. Like they're like in cloth, but you can't like get the whole crew of anything. Lower Decks, you can get a couple of people, but they're not even action figures, right? They're like in a stance. They're more like a maquette, they're just a pose.
Right.
It sounds like he wants to dig in the back catalog, but I would love to see the modern, I want to see Erica Ortegas as an action figure on my desk, please.
Oh,
because these new characters just aren't getting any love yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I wonder if the licensing precludes them from doing that, but certainly you would think they would be a bigger seller, because I would think currently the fan base for those is bigger than, maybe the folks left over from still love the old stuff.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are watching the modern Strange New Worlds that never watched anything before it. Yeah. They probably didn't watch Discovery or the cartoons or any of that stuff. And they're like, oh, this is fantastic television. I don't need to know all that. And you want to buy that character, and you can't right now.
Yeah. And it's actually kind of a great thing about the show is you don't need to know any of the other stuff. It adds a lot of color, and you get a lot of, sort of homages or tie-ins that are really great for folks who know all of the lore, but you don't need to. You can just jump in at this latest, series and be satisfied.
Cool.
Start watching, Kat.
Yeah, Strange New World. Start with that one. That would be awesome.
Strange New Worlds?
Well, I guess you got to start with, what's the show before that, John? Oh, Discovery.
Discovery? You don't have to.
Well, when we see, no spoilers, but the first and second season kind of lead into Strange New World.
Oh,
it did. Okay. It did, in fact.
So, and then actually, honestly, Discovery, I didn't like the third season so much. It was fine. And then I haven't even watched anymore. They leapt ahead in time, like 5,000 years. I was like, what? I feel rudderless. Like, I feel like them.
Actually, it was just shy of 1,000 years.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Weekend Johnny.
No problem.
Weekend Johnny on the job.
When you're ready to watch Strange New Worlds, Kat, watch party. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds good.
Hey, and finally in 1980s news, before we get to our creepy 1980s tale, according to IndieWire, Frank Darabont was happily dragged out of retirement. So exactly 30 years after the Shawshank Redemption, which Darabont directed, he's got his next massive project lined up. We're talking about 2 episodes of the blockbuster series Stranger Things. Of course, it's season 5. It'll be the final. It's the final season. Well, Darabont famously stepped away from filmmaking after his short-lived TNT series Mob City aired for just 1 season in 2013. His last film, 2007's The Mist, adapted from a Stephen King novel. His last film was 2007's The Mist, adapted from the Stephen King novel. And now The Green Mile Helmer. Look, we're just working in all the titles. Just give me a list. Anyway, he's now explaining why he came out of his 11-year retirement to direct 2 episodes of the 5th and final season of Stranger Things. And it really is simple. And I love this. Quote, what really dragged me out of retirement was that my wife and I really love the show. End quote. There you go.
There you go. That's what you need to know.
I would love to be in that position, right? You're like an accomplished whatever, and you see something and you're like, I'd like to be, yes, I'd like to be involved in that. You just pick up the phone.
Yep.
Hey, can you reach out to these guys, see if I can direct a couple episodes?
Yep.
Right. What's your name again? Frank Darabont. Right this way, sir.
Right. He continued telling the Daily Beast, quote, our content now is so filled with horrible people doing horrible things for greedy reasons, but Stranger Things has so much heart. That positivity is something I really responded to, end quote. Of course, this raised a big question for fans of Darabont, who, by the way, helped develop The Walking Dead back in 2010 and then was unceremoniously fired like midway of the 2nd season.
Oh, really?
And it's fairly controversial. You know, depending on who you talk to, it's why he was let go. And but he actually filed a lawsuit against AMC in 2013, claiming they owed him $280 million in damages.
Wow.
Hello. Probably fall.
How's he walking?
Right. Yeah.
Damage like that.
Show me on the doll where the 280. Well, you got 150 was done here.
Oh.
That'll leave a mark.
But yeah, we're wondering, hey, is this so he's back to do this TV show? Is he going to be directing more movies? Is he going to help develop other shows? That'd be fantastic. Well, when asked about this, he said, quote, who knows? I haven't missed the business, but I have missed being on set with creative people. It may well be one and done, but we've still got time, end quote. Now, the most surprising thing to me about learning this, which this story just came out, was, wait a second. Netflix season 5 hasn't come out yet? Wasn't it due out like this month? Wait a second. I got to Google something real quick.
Well, we had a strike.
Year. I'm like, what? Next year?
Like, doesn't this news suggest he hasn't directed them yet? So they're, well, it turns out, it's still being filmed.
Oh, wow.
As recently as October 4th, executive producer Sean Levy shared some behind-the-scenes photos. And it's believed that shooting may continue until January of next year, or when Millie Bobby Brown hits menopause, whichever is first.
Right.
And when she does.
Finn Wolfhard is in a walker. I'm 16.
Yes.
Seriously, I'm 16.
Finn, we'll believe it, Finn. We'll fix it in post.
We'll paint out the walker so you're just walking funny. We can't see it.
It's like, why is
it those green walker? The green tennis balls in the bottom. I want to see the behind the scenes photos.
They're going to have to explain why he swings his arms the way he does. Some kind of weird accent.
It's how he walks in the upside down.
Yeah, and it turns out while we don't know specifically, some have speculated we may actually not see the series until 2026.
Jeez. Millie Bobby Brown just got married. Yeah. And she's starting a whole life and she's doing other she's decreasingly matches the role for which she is playing in Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah, you saw in season 4 already, it was stretching it. Like, I think only a few months are supposed to have passed between the 2 seasons, and goodness gracious.
They need to leap forward in time. Is what they need to do. Right?
Yeah.
I was just speaking of BV Dubs and the Nacelle Corporation, they've been coming out with a whole bunch of these Icons Unleashed series. Not just like 4 or 5 of them in a row. They did the James Bond series. They've done Tom Cruise. They did a Harry Potter talking about those child actors. And I never thought about it back then. Like the creatives behind Harry Potter had this ticking clock of
Yes.
puberty hitting these kids. And so they were making movies like solid for 7 years.
Yes.
Not like take a summer off and do it and we get it right back to production. Now, what I will say is that was incredibly rough on these child actors, and they talk about that in the series. So on one hand, these stars of Stranger Things have been afforded the opportunity to have their own lives and careers. They're not time locking. They're not year locking the actors into doing this in a certain pace. But the downside is they're not writing their ages into it either. They're continuing to try to go, no, they're all 17.
Yeah.
They're all 16. I think a leap forward would be a phenomenal way to end the series with its final season, to see them in their 20s dealing with this. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Otherwise, it's just up to us to suspend reality.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Blah, blah, blah. They're totally young. They're totally young. I couldn't see it.
And I did struggle a little bit with that last year, or last season, which I say last year, that was probably 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
last
probably.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was.
All right. Hey, look.
Come on,
we'll
Will
watch it.
Byers. I'm right behind you. I'm coming. We're all afraid of the monster.
Let's face it. We're all going to watch it. It doesn't really matter. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
No, we are.
yes.
Yeah.
let's see how it ends.
Speaking of Frank Darabont,
Yeah.
the Shawshank Redemption, one of my top 10 films of all time. Love it. And I used to consume everything I could, special features on DVDs and stuff. And I remember seeing an interview with him where he said, it's like I specialize myself in Stephen King short stories.
Yes.
Beyond that, I seem to specialize in Stephen King short stories about prisons, which he had done 2 films about.
That's very niche. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, so I guess when I run out of those, I'll have to stop directing. So he kind of did. Yeah, funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So what was the other one? Wait, so it's
Green Mile and Shawshank.
Green Mile. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
And then The Mist was also a short story, I believe, right? It wasn't a full novel.
Was there
and,
prison? Was there prison involved?
no prison in that
no
one.
prison.
No, they were holed up in a convenience store, but that wasn't a prison.
Well, depends on your perspective.
Like prison.
All right. Hey, speaking of prisons, we're looking to get out of the show as quickly as possible. So
I'm already going.
let's, Weekend Johnny. Johnny never showed up. Weekend Johnny's been here this whole time.
The
Yeah,
Mountain
we
Dew
can
hard
try.
cider is helping, so that's good.
Go. All right. Hey, that was 1980s Nerds.
What are you drinking? Mountain Dew cider?
Hard cider.
Seriously? Mountain Dew makes a
Yes.
hard cider?
Hell yes. It's for Weekend Johnny
Whoa.
only.
What's Weekend Will drinking there?
And
That's
Will is
another
drinking
tall can.
vaguely flavored water.
Yes. But it's hard, though. Hard water, like minerals. It's got a lot of minerals in it.
Hard water, very
it's-
limey. Yeah.
It leaves a crust around his lips every sip.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
takes. That crunching noise you hear is Will wiping his
Yes.
face.
He's going to need some vinegar after that.
It's like salt deposits building
Yeah.
up.
I need a filter. All right. Hey, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm going to share with you a true. Now, usually I put crime in quotes because it's not usually a crime necessarily.
Yeah, right.
And the true I leave alone. This time I'm going to put the true in quotes, and we'll talk about it after. But I'm going to tell you right now the story
Huh.
that I'm going to tell you, which was compiled from a few different sources, comes primarily from one, which again I'll mention after we're done here. So some of what I share with you right now is factually accurate. Most of what I share with you was documented by the people who experienced it, and they claim it was true. They have not let on otherwise.
Okay, but still, air quotes. Was
I'm
it
gonna say
actually a
that for me.
crime? So there was a crime that
No,
occurred?
yeah, not even a crime. It's just
Okay.
a true tale, creepy tale from them.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
So I don't know what this is about yet,
Yeah,
but
okay.
Cat, quick sidebar.
Mm.
Knowing the things that Will judges are silly to believe, like my cryptids and my aliens, true in quotes means Will doesn't believe it. So we shall
Good
see.
point. Good point. Thank you.
Hey guys, I just happened to see you guys talking over to the side, so I came over here.
Oh, yeah. It's not about
I heard
you.
what you said, and I think it's fair.
Totally justified. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna, as always, for folks listening, I'm gonna adopt a silly voice as best I can,
Yes.
consistent with what I understand true crimes to sound like. I'll play some music in the background, but if you have any questions, comments, or any better jokes, please stop me and let me know at any time, and we'll take care of that. Otherwise, we'll pause every now and then in a very dramatic fashion to allow for some discussion.
I'm going to pay careful attention to the music in case there's any meowing.
There's no meowing, Cat.
Ah.
Cat, please don't pay attention to the music. That was just.
This is for the audience. This is ambiance.
It's okay if you don't.
Okay.
Pay attention to me. All right.
Cat watches movies and looks in the background actors. I saw him in another movie.
Right.
I saw him. Yeah. Weekend Johnny's scared.
Although it was late 1955, the anonymous package read Happy Easter
What?
when it arrived at the U.S. Office of Naval Research. Once opened, it revealed a copy of Morris K. Jessup's book, The Case for the UFO, Unidentified Flying Objects.
Oh.
Look, John's all proud of
Look at yes. He's reveling.
Nailed it.
Weekend Johnny's reveling.
This curious edition of the book, however, was filled with handwritten notes in different shades of ink, appearing to capture a debate between three individuals.
Oh.
The trio, it seemed, agreed upon two things. One, the author of the book was close to discovering their technology. And two, something must be done. This
What?
is the true story of the Montauk Project.
Huh.
Hmm.
So
Doesn't ring
intrigued.
any- I mean, the game isn't to figure out if it's going to ring any bells, you know.
No. Will kind of pretended in our pre-show discussion that he didn't tell us what the story was, but he suggested that John might know a little bit about this one.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has knowledge of my knowledge or he just, because it's UFO, it's in a bucket that all you people know each other, right?
There was potential for probing, so
Some kind of
Right.
you
discrimination.
might know about it.
Prejudice, I should say. No, John,
But,
I think at this next paragraph, you'll realize why
okay.
I've said what I did.
Okay.
A year after the ONR received the unusual publication, they summoned the author to explain the annotated book. Immediately upon examination, Jessup noticed something familiar. The handwriting of the scribbled notes resembled that on a series of letters he had received from Carl Allen. In those correspondences, Allen told tale of secret government research that used the unpublished theories of Albert Einstein. Allen claimed that in 1943, an experiment to make the USS Eldridge invisible to radar
Oh.
instead vanished the Navy ship from existence for several minutes before it reappeared in the Philadelphia shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
And when it returned, the vessel was the stuff of nightmares. Some of the sailors were fused to the ship, their flesh and bones intertwined with the steel. Those more fortunate simply went mad.
Oh man.
All right, now.
That's the
Okay.
kind of thing Kat would be laughing uproariously at.
Look at
I
that dude.
saw it.
Look, they're fused into the ship. That's hilarious.
He's still alive, but he won't last much longer. I mean, half of his body is part of the ship.
Kill me. That's so funny. See, she's still laughing.
I'm
Fused in
coping.
the ship.
I'm
That's
coping.
funny. He's
I'm coping.
Just a side note that I find funny. This guy, Carl Allen, was a merchant marine from 1942 to 1952. During his lifetime, he used many aliases, including Carlos Miguel Allende and
Oh.
Senor Professor and Colonel Carlos Miguel Cristofero Allende. And
Cerveza Crista.
And one time when he wrote to the rocket engineer Werner von Braun, he went as Dr. Karl Merid Allenstein.
Esquire.
Allenstein.
Oh, I see why I usually do that, what I
Hey, Brad's here.
You know what? Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me just.
Hey, Brad's here.
Yeah, what does Brad say?
He says, "Fucking Carl."
Does he know Carl?
That guy.
Nerves
He's
of
always,
steel.
he's always been a pain in Brad's ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it this way. All right, just gotta fix one of the sounds on the board here. Turn this off. All right, now it won't go off.
So I don't know exactly where you're going, but from what you've said so far, I think this relates to the experiment of the same name.
Oh, it's just
No, okay.
Long Island, 1971.
Oh, flash forward.
Electrical engineer Preston Nichols did not believe in paranormal activity.
Like
So
Will.
he was thrilled to receive a grant to disprove the existence of mental telepathy.
To
Like Will.
disprove it.
To disprove it.
Okay.
He wasn't a fan.
Will
No,
would
I-
take a grant to
Yes.
disprove anything that we find fun.
Yes. To his surprise, however, Nichols soon determined that psychic phenomena not only existed,
Oh.
but it behaved much like the radio frequencies with which he was more familiar.
Huh.
And in 1974, a few years into his research, Nichols noticed something peculiar about the psychics he had been studying. Every day, at the same hour, their abilities would be rendered ineffective.
Ooh.
Their thoughts were, quote, jammed.
Ooh.
I call that 3 p.m. for myself. Like I'm writing every day at 3 o'clock. I'm like, I gotta just chill out for a little bit. Here.
You
20
get
minutes.
jammed.
Yeah.
Your all your abilities.
Little did you know you were writing telepathically and then you were
Oh,
getting
gosh.
jammed up.
You're right.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're channeling the thoughts of aliens, actually.
Mm.
Oh.
Blues Connection.
Could be true. It could be true, John.
You don't know.
Suspecting,
Grant to prove it.
I'm writing grants to disprove psych. That's what I'm doing.
Yes.
But don't try to write them at 3 o'clock.
No,
That's what John's
jammed up.
pointed you.
suspecting that the psychic interference was caused by an electronic signal. Nichols scanned the airwaves. Soon, he learned that whenever the telepaths were rendered powerless, a 410, 420 megahertz frequency appeared. But from where? Desperate to find the source, Nichols did something I imagine John would have done. He placed a modified TV antenna atop the roof of his car, attached to a VHF receiver, and went
He's
driving.
going to triangulate the source, cat.
The powerful signal made quick work of Nichols' task, leading him straight to the eastern tip of Long Island.
Oh.
But just the tip, though. It was just of Long Island. The frequency was coming directly from a football field-sized radar reflector, sitting precariously atop a building on the Montauk Air Force Base.
Where the UFOs are parked.
Okay.
Yes, it
On
was
the
a
Air
UFO.
Force Base. All right. So we have the Navy and the
Military.
Air Force are involved.
The
in
military
this.
knew all along.
Mm-hmm.
They're interfering with telepaths around 3 p.m. just to give them a break.
Everyone, get a Dunkin' Donuts 50.
Munchkin bucket. Let's go.
I'm driving.
Right. We know who's not driving.
Oh. What? Wait.
That's an inside joke.
Yes.
If you're hungry, yeah.
You don't.
just-
don't.
I'm just talking shit about Kat's husband. Don't
About my
mind me.
husband. Yes. He loves Duncan though, so he could take you straight there. If you choose Duncan, boom. Like a
Maybe.
one-way trip.
Yeah, maybe, right.
You're
2 hours
skeptical.
later.
You're a non-believer.
Long before the Montauk Air Force Base was established, the eastern tip of Long Island, and just the tip, held strategic significance. Nearly 200 years before Nichols went snooping, the Montauk Lighthouse was authorized to keep watch for British ships during the American Revolution. And because its location midway between two major American cities made it vulnerable to invasion, the military installation continued to grow throughout the First and Second World Wars. To protect it from German spies in the 1940s, the base was fashioned to look like a typical New England fishing village. But what was it hiding in 1971?
So this is true. So they really did, when they in the 1940s they had this base, they did make it look like a little small town. The church actually was the gymnasium for the soldiers. It was like the schoolhouse was the barracks. It was like so an aerial shot or German fishing boats, which they were more concerned about because it would be harder for them to know about that, would just see a town. And they wouldn't suspect, the military activity that was going on there.
That's genius. That kind of like in plain sight camouflage, I guess, is like during World War II they did a lot of that, but it was more of like just with the literal camouflage, the big nets, and you would render things invisible. That or they would make them look like innocuous things like they did here at the base. So, but what else did they? What did you disguise the satellite dish as? It looks like a Shoney's big boy holding aloft. Instead of a hamburger, he has a large satellite dish. Don't mind this.
It could be a hot dog bun. Yeah,
it's a plate. It's the plate. Yeah, the burger's on it. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Hamburger.
When Nichols found the source of the telepathic kryptonite, he thought it must have been generated accidentally. Although the base was still active in 1971, Nichols couldn't imagine a use for an antiquated radar system. Unfortunately, the tight-lipped security stationed there were of no help. They would only say that the array was used as part of an FAA project. And while Nichols found this justification to be unbelievable, it was not as remarkable as the truth Nichols would later discover. But he would need to wait a decade before he would remember it.
Will keeps saying "but" a lot.
Experiment. He does say "but." Yes.
I like big butts.
There's the T-shirt.
Yes.
So something related to the FAA, and yet it's disrupting telepaths. Verified by the funded, the study that was funded. So first we know telepathy exists. Is that part of your in quotes true? I'm sure. And then the fact that they're being disrupted, also part of Will's in quotes true.
Yeah.
But
and
I mean,
FAA, is that Federal Aviation
Administration? Yeah.
Administration? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I would think so.
Are they involved though? Because the people there were just saying, "Oh, it's just an FAA thing. We don't."
Part of the smoke train. Yeah. Okay, I'm super intrigued.
Me too. Me too.
1984.
Oh, good year.
Nichols had been researching metaphysical phenomena for 13 years when he learned the Montauk Air Force Base had been shuttered. Finally, Nichols could examine the mysterious installation without fear. Or so he thought.
Or could he?
When Nichols arrived, he found the main gate was open, and the windows and doors of the buildings throughout were likewise left ajar. Furniture, equipment, and documents were everywhere. It was as if the military base had been deserted, and in haste.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
that's a GTFO situation. It's like just leave everything where it was.
Yep, get the order
We
out.
got to go.
Brad's got an idea.
Yes, Brad, that's
No
correct.
Googling,
It's the
Brad.
ANFPS 35 radar. That's correct.
No Googling, Brad. It's not fair.
Don't get ahead of the story. Stay with us. Hey, Nick.
I'm not looking at the comments. I don't want to be spoiled.
As Nichols searched through the debris-strewn Air Force Base, he found the remains of odd high-voltage equipment. But his most curious discovery was a man living among it. When the stranger's eyes fell upon Nichols, however, he was more frightened than Nichols. "It's you," he said, sounding terrified. The man explained that he had not only been living at the deserted base, but he had been working there when it was abandoned a year earlier.
Oh.
Then, the stranger told Nichols an experiment had forced the military to flee. The secret project had opened a portal to hell and freed one of its monsters.
Whoa.
And the man who led this endeavor, the stranger concluded, was Nichols.
What?
Is the dude him from the future?
What?
Then he would have said, "It's me." He would have said, "It's
Right.
you."
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, "It's
Maybe it
me."
was Weekend Nichols.
Oh,
Having a
split personality.
spider. Sleep it off, Weekend Nichols.
Now I'm torn. A portal to hell. What's that got to do with UFOs? Nothing. But then now we're working our way back to telekinesis, right? And extra. What are you laughing at, Will? An extrasensory perception.
I'm laughing at
jammed
this.
up.
The stuff I'm leaving out makes this even more insane, which I'll tell you.
Oh no, you're leaving
Okay.
things out.
I
Oh,
have
no.
to for a time.
Hopefully
and
no
efficiency.
parrots. If
Portal
there's any
to
parrots,
hell.
you have to leave them in.
But I was just thinking, this story, John, touches upon all of your things except Bigfoot. But otherwise, and we can modify it to make it Bigfoot is the monster that came
Could
out.
we?
From hell.
Yeah.
We can
Maybe-
add that.
It's the Bigfoot from Hell. That's another movie I haven't seen. That could be great.
Terrifying.
The Montauk Bigfoot from Hell. Greenlit. Call Netflix.
You joke, but we know that you'd be watching that since it came out.
Yep. Yep.
Nichols doubted the unusual man's story. After all, Nichols had never worked at the Montauk Air Force Base,
Oh, but you
and
will.
monsters from hell were the stuff of B-movies. Nevertheless, Nichols continued to research the mysteries of the Air Force Station. As he spoke to long-term residents of the community, their bizarre accounts only raised more questions. Several townsfolk told Nichols it once snowed in August.
Oh.
The chief of police revealed that crimes were perpetrated in specific 2-hour blocks.
They're on a schedule.
It's 6 o'clock. Gay.
Yeah.
Burglaring.
It's all the telekinetics on a rampage. Like, I've lost signal. And they go crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my mojo back.
Yes.
I'm still a six-pack.
Yeah. I'm going to hold up this convenience store.
Many recalled animals overrunning Montauk en masse. As the puzzles mounted, a man appeared at Nichols' lab, bringing with him potential solutions and the threat of murder.
Ooh.
So this story has everything, man. It does everything.
You have animals gone wild.
Yes. Topless.
Bigfoot from hell in Montauk. There's radar. Old radar.
And the Bigfoot would go crazy because he's also wildlife. So he
Yeah.
would be running amok as well.
Double muck.
Was there a pond? Did they have a little Ogopogo or a Loch Ness monster in the pond as well?
All the cryptids.
Okay.
Oh, John, that would be a movie for you. A movie with all the cryptids. Somehow they join forces.
That's the
The
portal.
Avengers of cryptid movies.
Yes.
Monsters assemble!
Yeah, it'd be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah."
Squawk, squawk. Meow.
When Duncan Cameron appeared on Nichols' doorstep, he He seemed too eager to help.
Huh.
Immediately suspicious, Nichols did what he had done with anything else out of the norm. He sought to connect Cameron to Montauk. So Nichols drove Cameron to the Air Force Base. And, to his surprise, Cameron not only recognized it, but he knew many of its minute details.
Oh.
But before Nichols could learn how Cameron had gained such familiarity, something even stranger occurred.
What? Even stranger?
When the pair entered the transmitter room, Cameron fell into a trance. His eyes vacant, he began spewing information uncontrollably. A most shocking of his revelations. He had been programmed to befriend Nichols, destroy his lab, and kill him.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh. This is like
So
Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
While
vibes.
he's in the lab, he has all these abilities. It's not a disruption field. It's a field that sucks in all of the abilities and focuses them there in the lab. So he's going insane because he's getting all the abilities and wouldn't normally have them, and they're manifest. It's like a refocusing beam.
That's a little spot on, John.
Well, I mean, that's what I would do.
I mean, this is the space you live in, so yeah.
You'd put an antenna on your car and you would do
This
this.
is the kind of bullshit story I'd watch a movie about.
This is John's biography we're talking about here.
It's you.
Which John? Which Johnny? Yeah.
It's Weekend
right.
Johnny.
Weekend Johnny.
Cameron was just... Sorry. All right. Cameron was as shocked as Nichols to learn of his deadly programming. Now, free of it, however,
Oh.
Cameron committed himself to helping Nichols unravel the mysteries of Montauk. As luck would have it, the pair soon realized that Cameron was, quote, an extremely operational psychic, end quote.
Okay.
And as Cameron began recalling more memories that had been hidden from him, so too did Nichols begin to remember long, dormant experiences.
Oh. Huh.
While there was still much to be learned about what they began calling the Montauk Project, Nichols was now certain that he had been involved. But it wasn't until 6 years later that Nichols would learn just how.
So 1990? Okay.
1990. Nichols
See him the whole time.
It was the friendship he had all along or something.
See, he did travel back in time to tell him, I know it. I knew it.
It's even fucking crazier than that, man. I gotta tell you, maybe off air if we don't have time, the craziest shit. That's just like, I had to leave out. It's just
Wow.
By 1990, Nichols had spent 6 years attempting to uncover the truth about Montauk.
Mm-hmm.
He had stumbled upon a high-level secret project and feared it may cost him his life.
Again?
well, I mean, he's got some government secrets he knows. He's got he
Mhm.
knows people are running for him. Yeah, they tried to send this guy after him. Yeah,
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
wanted dead.
So, he went public. Nichols gave an unannounced lecture at the United States Psychotronics Association.
Oh, yeah. I was there last week.
Of
course.
carrying member.
Yeah.
Oh, the board.
Yeah, just there.
Next, he shared military document. Next, he shared the military documents he had discovered at the abandoned base with an unnamed U.S. senator. Perhaps safer, Nichols still didn't know his own seeming role in the project. That is, until he constructed a Delta T antenna. Again, probably something only John knows about.
Another antenna.
On the roof of his laboratory. As one does. And as he soldered the wires together, connections in his subconscious were also made.
Damn.
Suddenly, Nichols remembered everything.
As he soldered, he remembered everything.
Yes, because he's a robot.
Wow.
I don't know what I think about repressed memories, but I mean,
Oh, we found the line.
but if they're not pulled out of you by a psychologist, but rather invoked by
believe it.
soldering, it's more believable.
But a 1 in 50 electronics kit. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's one thing if someone convinces you, but like if he revealed them to himself, it's a little more believable because most of it, like in the Satanic Panic, a lot of that was like suggestion that was kind of laid into the minds of these people that remembered something. But unless he's insane, which I suppose is a potential, he's remembering on his own by going through some exercise and possibly
a somatic trigger is doing
pulling in
it.
some delta waves he otherwise was not being focused on. And
I honestly
high
expected
functioning.
when I read this that he's installing the antenna, it was going to be struck by lightning. And then that was going to be the thing. He was just soldering wires.
Right. And he remembered, that's right, I'm Benjamin Franklin. I remember now. Where are my keys?
Guys in white jackets show up and take them off in a paddy wagon.
Powdered wig.
He's got a powder wig on and no pants.
Yeah. Why no pants? What's that got to do with anything?
You can truly insane
right.
see me.
The powder wig, totally sane. No pants in the paddy wagon. Now we know where Will draws the line.
They have laws in Montauk. Come on.
You can
Historic stuff.
Oh, you could be flopping and drooping, but better not wear a wig.
Nichols remembered that he had began working for the Montauk Project in the early 1970s. The extra-governmental organization had formed to continue the
Wait. I've got to stop you. He just remembered he used to work there?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
In 1990,
Yes.
he did this little, he was putting an antenna.
He was soldering. Yes.
Reminded him, whatever, 20 years earlier, he began his work in the Montauk.
He forgot he worked there?
In 1971, is that when he put the little antenna on his car and it brought him there and he discovered that
was actually in 1983, I think it was.
Oh, he's a high-functioning psychic, and when they channeled all the stuff, he had a blowout and it damaged some memory neurons.
Right.
Oh
No,
my
I got to
God.
get the
Okay.
year straight
All
here.
right.
I thought 84 was when he learned, oh, it's closed now. I can go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In
And
1971.
it was the year before. So in 71, he began his experiments with psychics.
Okay.
He got that
Yeah.
grant.
Yep.
He continued doing his research until it was in 1983 that I think it was, I got here, 1983, he's getting this interference. So
Oh.
Okay, that's the driving around with the car was just the year
Right.
before. Got it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets to the base, they say it's
Okay.
open. We're doing our own, the FAA's doing something here.
Okay.
A year later, he learns it's closed, so he goes back.
So only a year passed in between him finding the interference and
Yes.
then being like, hey, I got to go check this out. Okay.
Right.
And Will,
Got
of course the guy said it's you because you used to work there. It's like, not for nothing, you're still wearing your ID badge, dude.
That's what that is.
I've just never taken it off. I thought it was a birthmark. So it's not time travel. It's he forgot a whole damn career.
Right.
All right.
Wow.
The extra-governmental organization had formed to continue the controversial scientific goals of its predecessors from decades earlier.
Hmm.
The team was to create metaphysical tools that could assist the U.S. military.
Mm.
To help in their paranormal goals, the project made use of the Montauk chair. First constructed in the 1950s, the chair leveraged the abilities of the psychic sitting upon it, amplifying their powers.
Why is this funny?
I don't know. I'm trying to picture.
She's coping.
The chair.
Oh, okay,
I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
trying coping. I'm trying to picture what does this chair look like.
It's like an electric chair, but it's like I can see colors. I can hear flavors.
It was constructed in the 1950s. It was
it
a
made out of?
beanbag chair. It was a
beanbag
It was very
chair?
popular at the time.
No, you do. No, it wasn't. Stop. Cat's gonna believe that and spend the rest of the episode thinking it's a beanbag chair. Quit it.
Reservoir life avoiding beanbag chairs.
Well, it's all the static electricity it builds up, amplifies your psychic
Come over
powers.
here. Come over here. Rubbing my feet on the carpet.
Oh, don't touch me.
Okay, so psychic it amplifies the powers of the psychic sense.
Yeah. In a beanbag.
In the 1970s, while Nichols worked on the project, the role of the psychic fell to Cameron.
Okay.
He was the guy in the chair.
Yes.
And
Got
while
you.
the technology that powered the unusual furniture wasn't fully understood, it was believed much of it was provided by the Syrians. You know, a race of aliens who come from the star system known as Sirius.
Oh.
Oh, not the Syrians, but
Not
pivot.
the
serious.
Syrians.
Pivot, yeah.
And I'm still stuck on a beanbag chair.
This has got all your stuff. in it.
No, Cat, forget the beanbag chair. Put that
trying.
out of your mind.
I'm trying.
Imagine the
I
electric
can't.
chair. It's so much easier.
Oh.
It's closer to that. Yeah, it's closer to that.
So not only they're focusing energy to the base, not only to the dish, not only to the room, they're bringing it down to this narrow little pipe that rights right in the back of this freaking chair
A chair.
that can blow out your memories, apparently.
Well, yeah. We're gonna. Well, really,
Okay.
maybe it works the opposite way. I think, John.
Oh,
The chair takes the psychic energy and works it the same the way you described the path, but in reverse, using the
Oh.
antenna ultimately to magnify the power.
Oh, you're the battery.
Yeah,
Are you
so-
like the battery amplifying the Syrians signal?
So these guys were trying to see, can they use mind control over long distances?
Oh.
Can they do remote viewing over long distances? Can they have
Oh.
you read someone's mind over long distances?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And before you continue, point of order, we haven't heard anything about the portal to hell in a while. Is that still open, or are we getting back to
Weekend Johnny's a little worried about the portal.
I mean, did it get shut, or what's our
We're gonna
status?
get there. We're gonna get there, I
Okay,
promise.
okay, I can wait. All right.
Can you though?
Over a decade later, the project had not only made significant progress, but their research had also yielded metaphysical phenomena beyond their dreams and nightmares.
Love it again.
While mind control finally seemed attainable, they also learned the Montauk chair could manifest objects from Cameron's thoughts.
Oh. Okay.
Thinks about it, it appears.
Munchkins, please. A bucket of munchkins.
Bucket of munchkins. Right. I'd like a 2024 boob bucket, but with a lid.
With the lid.
Munchkins are for closers, Cameron.
And after further experimenting with this form of conjuring, the team discovered time travel. With the proper attuning, the chair allowed
Why leave that out? Just go ahead and throw this in too.
John, I cut so much out.
Oh my God. You had to cut things out. Everything's in here already.
Is the Syrian signal just a genie? Like, whatever you wish for? Is what it is?
Sort of.
Okay, sorry.
With a proper attuning, the chair allowed Cameron to open portals to other eras. And while these discoveries were exciting, when Nichols and Cameron learned the project's true goal, they feared the worst.
Oh.
The researchers were attempting to open a time door to the USS Eldridge in 1943.
Oh. Okay.
And it kind of worked.
Ah. I'm
So-
imagining the Eldritch thing is that everybody ended up looking like the thing, like something from the thing,
Oh
like
yeah, I mean the way it was
just
described,
Oh,
it sort
yeah.
of sounds like that. Yeah,
distorted and wrong.
Yeah.
merged
Yeah.
with the ship
Yeah.
or the hull of the ship.
And it's
Yeah.
like slipping in time and space, which is why they got embedded into the.
Mm.
Oh man! First,
Yeah.
I could do this episode every week. I'm freaking amazed. You know that tingle in the back of your neck, like, damn, I'm interested in this. I'm getting that, but maybe it's Weekend Johnny. I don't know. But
Weekend Johnny.
so this loops back to the ship. Like the thing they were doing was why did they want to go to the ship? Why were they trying to open a portal to this specific boat in this year? Is it causal? Were they trying to fix the thing that happened? Or did they cause the thing that happened, therefore it's self-fulfilling?
Oh.
So I'm not spoiling anything because this doesn't come out in the story. But what
No.
it seems by this person's account of the story, they were attempting to solve the problem.
Okay.
So
to save
part
them.
of it, and again, it's so many layers, but part of it is they believed that the reason that people were merged with the ship or went mad is because they were existing nowhere in time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so part of their trying to attempt to solve the problem was that they were going to have a psychic like Cameron conjure a reality, an alternate reality,
Oh, wow.
for them to exist. They call it the bottle. So the ship is inside of a bottle. That they would have this reality so that the sailors would have a anchor of sorts.
So they're not affected by the nothingness, either in physical shift, which is how they got stuck in the boat, or mental shift. They had a break because they were nowhere.
Yes. So they would think they're still on a ship in the water or whatever, because as long as Cameron was creating this for them.
Wow.
That's part
But
of
if you
it.
cannot actually change the past, it's more likely they actually caused it. They thought they were fixing it, but the act of fixing it is what caused it to happen in the first place, which is why they're aware of it, which sent them back to fix it.
Could be,
Ooh.
yeah. Especially the way it
no.
comes, the way it comes to an end.
I've done the math. I verified.
Yeah, we're just a few paragraphs away from an ending, and
But why would they go back why would they go back to fix
Because it
something that
already
hadn't been
happened.
broken?
Because it had. That's the thing with cyclical time travel. It's always happened. Even though you don't know you've done it yet, you will because you did. Metaphysics is awesome.
it is awesome. I agree with that description. It is awesome.
Also, he would agree with the literal definition of incredible,
Yes. Incredulous, even.
meaning not credible.
By 1983, Nichols and Cameron's concerns peaked. The project, they determined, must be stopped. To do so, they would leverage the combined powers of the Montauk chair and Cameron's psychic abilities. But they weren't quite sure when to enact this contingency. That is until August 12th.
Now, on August 12th, 1943 is when the USS Eldridge disappeared.
Okay.
On that day,
August 12th, 1983.
Nichols and Cameron continued their experiments as ordered, when suddenly strange phenomena began.
Well, stranger than, I mean, a lot of strange shit's going on at the time.
Something weird finally happens. Stay tuned.
Finally, this story is interesting.
I'm there.
The otherworldly equipment began to whir and click until it appeared to sync with something beyond the scientist's perception.
The Syrians.
When?
Is it the Syrians that gave Doc Brown his nuclear?
That's exactly what I just was thinking of.
They're working together. The Syrians have teamed up with the Syrians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe that's what he meant, not the country. All right, so they're clicking in on something here.
When, as often would, a time portal opened.
Sorry. Oh, something beyond the scientist's perception.
when a time portal opened.
Oh.
On the other side, the USS Eldridge.
It already happened.
It was time to destroy the project.
Oh.
Now, this is, I didn't, again, I cut out so much. And this
That's
would have
a
been a
shame.
cool thing to work in, but I'd have to plant it earlier. So I'm just going to tell you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Duncan Cameron is the psychic in the chair.
Mhm.
In the full story,
Uh-huh.
at some point, I'll just tell you it this way. At the end of the time tunnel, we see the Eldridge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the deck of the ship, we see Duncan Cameron.
Oh.
Is he in the chair?
No, he's on the ship. He's in the chair and on the ship. And
Oh.
Nichols makes sure that Duncan or Cameron doesn't see himself for fear that it'll affect the time,
Paradox issues. Yes. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
What Cameron later learns, or at some point when his memories, revealed, he said he was on the Eldritch in 43 and he jumped through the time portal and wound up in 1983.
Mm.
And that's ultimately the Cameron that comes and visits Nichols at his lab.
Oh, damn.
Oh. So,
Yeah.
are there two Camerons walking around now?
I mean, again, I'm not going to get into it. It's just too
What happened to the one who was already in 83?
And
Right,
actually,
right,
there's-
right.
a lot of it's not even covered in the story.
Okay.
So
He went and
Oh.
killed the other self
this is
because he's younger now.
Well, yeah, you'd have to, right? All right, we're almost done here.
As the others gathered.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
As the others gathered at the Montauk Air Force Base stared into the temporal tunnel in amazement, Nichols crept to Cameron, still in the Montauk chair, and whispered, "The time is now." Immediately, Cameron imagined a hideous monster,
Oh, Bigfoot.
and instantaneously,
From hell.
the Montauk chair conjured the beast
Oh.
there in the base.
For what?
The horrifying creature began feasting on anyone in its sights, destroying anything that stood between it and its prey.
What?
The surviving supervisors ordered Nichols to shut down the generators powering the equipment. But that failed to stop the beast.
It had manifested fully in our plane.
The experiment continued unabated, as if powered by another force.
Oh.
So, Nichols destroyed the equipment itself. And finally, the monster faded into the ether.
Again, I didn't put this in, but they start destroying equipment, the generators, etc., and still going. And the theory Nichols has is because they are connected to the Eldridge to this time thing now, that it's getting power from the Eldridge. And one of their plans is maybe we should send some of these guys through the tunnel on the Eldridge to shut that ship down too.
Oh my gosh.
There's no power from anything. But ultimately, Nichols just starts smashing everything. This looks important.
Right.
Sets
And
fire
so-
to the circuits, etc. Yeah.
And so the monster, like there were two things happening, like the tunnel was happening, the experiment was being powered, and also
There was a monster running around.
was-
Not for nothing.
powered by the equipment.
Yeah.
And then faded away when the equipment was destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like if you kill the main vampire, all of the other vampires melt into dust.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh.
They just weren't sure the main vampire was. Yeah.
Okay. Is there more?
Right.
You have more?
Yeah. Just to wrap up.
Okay. Yeah. Go.
Then we'll go talk
Brandon's
about some
invoking the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man at this point. Just
stuff.
saying,
Yes,
you
that's a
know.
good analogy. Yeah. What did you do, Ray?
Following the events of August 12th, 1983, the Montauk Air Force Station was abandoned.
Again.
The most important and incriminating equipment was removed, and those who survived the deadly incident had their memories wiped.
With what?
How? Yeah. Oh.
Today, it's possible to visit Camp Hero, the home of the base, which opened to the public as a state park in 2002. You may not want to linger too long, however, because according to some, the experiments continue in secret today.
I want to go.
I know where John's going when he goes to Long Island
right,
RetroCon next year.
Oh, man. You kidding me?
So just one show note here as far as the story goes. Most of this is a very abridged version of the story told in the Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, written by Preston Nichols himself and published in 1992.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
any bit of this seem familiar to you at all? Secret
Well, I thought about
extragovernmental
Stranger
experiments.
Things. It kind of made me think of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you remember the first season, they were
Come through a
experimenting with
portal.
remote viewing,
Mhm.
mind control.
Yep.
And at some point, because Elle sort of lost control, she winds up
Mhm.
bringing this creature into their reality.
Yes.
And it runs amok in the base until they're finally able to get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that this story, the Montauk experiment or project, etc., is what inspired the Duffer Brothers to create Stranger Things.
All right. Oh my gosh.
Season 5 coming in 2028.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, in 2016, Matt and Ross Duffer confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter that Stranger Things was originally sold as, quote, Montauk, before they decided to switch the name and the location to the fictional town of Hawkins,
Okay.
Indiana. They said that, quote, we liked Montauk because we liked the coastal setting, Matt Duffer said, adding that Montauk is the basis for Amity Island, the fictional location of
Yes.
Jaws, which is one of their favorite movies. But the setting changed when they realized, quote, it was really going to be impossible to shoot in or around Long Island in the wintertime.
Yes.
A filmmaker, Charlie Kessler, sued the brothers in 2018, claiming they stole his idea from his script, The Montauk Project. The Duffers denied these claims, and Kessler dropped the lawsuit in 2019.
And the somewhat amorphous job of the lab in Stranger Things, now, knowing this, seems to be finding these extraordinary children with gifts and using them as a battery or an antenna to reach these other things, this other dimension, this other upside down, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
And among the many things in this book, and there's a series of books, this is the first one that I used, but among the many things in the book, and I'll give you some of them that I didn't included the fact that it was believed that homeless people and children were abducted and subjected to experimentation to try to enhance powers or find powers, etc. Few survived and others had their memories erased. Some of the other details in the book that was that the facility was expanded to as many as 12 levels, subterranean levels, with several hundred workers working without anyone noticing. The tons of building materials or hundreds of workers required. Contact. Okay, so I told you about the Syrians. There was contact with other alien races as well that helped with the technology.
Of course, naturally.
And one
Beetlejuiceans.
Yes. One part of the story, they connect through some of the aliens through the time tunnel itself.
That makes it a time and space tunnel, technically, right?
Yeah. And I mentioned to you that Duncan Cameron claims to have leapt from the Eldridge. Yeah, and some of the other books, they do some time travel stuff and interact with historic figures, like Jesus and
like Jesus.
like Jesus. Now,
and while the Demogorgon bears very little resemblance to Sasquatch, I will point out that he did have big feet.
That's true.
All right,
Very
fair
good,
point.
yeah. So I mentioned early on this Carl Allen character who kicked off all of this by sending this book and with his notes and then claiming that he was witnessed the Philadelphia experiment. It turns out that the story of the Philadelphia experiment comes from Carl Allen. 12 years later, after he had sent that annotated book about the UFOs, he admitted that he made the whole thing up.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Now, remember
Okay.
Preston Nichols' story, though, includes the Philadelphia experiment as sort of kicking off his involvement with the Montauk Project, etc. He died in 2018, but until then, he had maintained that it was absolutely true. And there's other authors that played a role in helping him write the books also maintain it's true. If you
Will,
research
when
the
they
book,
start
though,
coming after you,
yeah,
you've got to recant if you want to stay alive.
You're right. He is dead. Whoa, we finally caught
See
him.
what happened?
Ooh.
Yeah, he maintained it's true, but the book is considered fiction because of many of its historical inaccuracies and incorrect references. There's a bunch of stuff in there.
Which part? Which part do they think is fictional?
See all. There's even small things that I thought, like he says the radar array was a football field size thing. I think it's 40 feet. It's actually 40 feet wide.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's right. Turns out it was a beanbag after all.
I was gonna something to do with the chair is the fiction part. Yes.
Well, yeah, and if you think,
it was more of a couch or a love seat, technically.
And the story, look, the story lives on today. Many folks, just like John, cross your fingers, hope that he'll meet a cryptid face to face one day, a friendly one.
Well, or a mean one that I can fight and win.
It has to be this big.
What's the smallest cryptid? But people believe the Philadelphia experiment still, and they believe the Montauk Project was real as well. So, and as recent as 2020, a gentleman named Joe Lafreno, who he has worked at the Camp Hero State Park for 18 years. So it opened to the public.
Yeah.
He's been I think a security guard there. He says that he told the New York Post in 2020 that, quote, "It's a place that's dominated my life and my nightmares," end quote. He believes, he's a 53, I guess he's 57 years old now. He believes that he was one of the lost and tortured Montauk boys, popularized in his books as the folks that were one of the kids that was kidnapped and experimented on. He said, quote, "I was hypnotized by a certified hypnotist for about 40 minutes, and all these memories flooded back," end quote. He believes he was abducted during the summer of 1980 and possibly during the summer of 1981 when he was 12 or 13. He says the first time, probe me, please. The first time, he said, there were two men waiting, dressed in civilian clothes. They ushered him and some other boys into a sunken house on the base. Later, he said he and the other boys were brought underground through Battery 113, one of the sealed gunneries left from World War II. He remembers lying on a table with wires coming out of him like electrodes.
John's like,
yay!
Wait, Will, tell me more about the electrodes. Why are you throwing the paper away?
Where do you put them, on the nipples?
Is it titanium? Are they an unknown metal?
I had one other note, but I guess.
Did you hear John when you said the guy was saying, "Oh, this has been the part of my nightmares for how long?" John was like,
John orgasm. I don't have the note here. Shoot, I had it. Anyway, but the other comment that he made that was interesting, he said that under hypnosis, he recalled being led to this underground, the site of where this underground house is, he said, on the base. And he believes that, he said, today, if my boss would give me permission, I would dig it up myself. I'm confident there's something under there.
Wow.
I told you about my history with underground houses, right?
No, I don't know that.
What?
Oh, yeah. Across the street from me, 2 underground houses where I grew up. Yeah. And they had satellite dishes, allegedly for pulling in HBO, but...
This sounds vaguely familiar.
What?
Oh, it's all true. Underground houses. I'll tell you about it sometime.
They were underground for efficiency purposes.
That's right. Yeah, they were built into the side of a hill. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Underground. Yeah.
Well, there you go. My hope is to bring you more strange and unusual stories throughout the rest of October.
Yes, please.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
That, however, was the show.
And that show was brought to you thanks in part to our early adopters, like Rick Parker and Karen Flieger. And thank you especially to our Secret of Our Success level Patreon supporters, Marcus Taylor, Tony Great, Nick Guillory, Matt Marino, John Henderson, and Brandon Greer.
Thank you so very much, guys. We certainly support Again, literally, it helps us pay the bills and also lifts our spirits. Couldn't thank you enough. If you'd like to join these folks, please head over to patreon.com/1980s now. You can figure out how you can chuck in a buck or two. If you can't do that, do something free. There's lots of free ways you can help the show seriously that pay dividends, like sharing a post, telling a friend about the podcast. Probably the biggest thing.
Or an enemy. Doesn't matter.
Or anybody, right. You know what? An asshole like you would like 1980s now.
Right.
I bet. You should probably listen and find out.
Oh, you and Will deserve each other.
Yes. I got to know who this guy is.
You could tell an alien next time you
Or,
one.
But you only learn about it in the chair. It's a problem.
or you could just make a just a glowing comment, review, or other like that on any of our social media.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I listened and it didn't suck.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Any other examples? Or no, that's the only one we have.
Of good comments to leave? That's one option. You want other options?
Kat was tracking down that one that you shared with us. Remember whether we could...
Oops. Oh, wait.
I heard it and my ears didn't bleed
People
much.
like the show. You should too. Tell people about it. Thank you.
On YouTube. Wasn't ready.
That's fine. All right.
That's super smooth, Kat.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah, I'm looking on YouTube, our YouTube channel right now, which please, folks, you should please subscribe to it. Here's a comment. 80s.
Yes.
So we're not 80s.
Okay.
There you go.
Just 80.
That's the comment. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they're not wrong.
Or
No,
you could
here you
leave a
go. All right, here's an
comment on
example.
any
I was
of
planning on
John's
not editing. I'm
channels.
not editing. What's that, Kat?
You could leave a comment on any of John's channels.
That's right. They'll get to us.
Yes.
Well, okay, here you go. Ted Adam Green on YouTube on our video about the conventions cost too much says, great conversation and good points all the way around.
Thank you.
Oh,
And
my
in
man Ted.
parentheses, he writes, except Kat, who seemed unprepared. There you go.
Oh,
That's him saying that, not me. All right, no, he didn't say that.
Oh,
All right,
back in the
hey,
beanbag, Kat.
We will be
I'm going to get back to the toilet.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Kat. You just know you got to take a dump. Oh, boy. All right, there goes our third grade.
Toilet installation.
No, I'm cutting that part out.
Yes,
All right,
you
hey. I felt like today was such a great show, too, until the last 5 minutes. All right, hey, look, we will be prepared next time.
But we had to
talk
get crass.
Stop talking. When we talk to you next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Cryptids assemble!
Arr. All right. Hey, you gotta run. Everybody's gotta run. Thanks so much, guys, for doing this at the last minute.
You're welcome. That was super fun.
I'll get you my audio by Wednesday.
Perfect time. All right. Yes. Please, tonight, please.
Yes,
I'll
of
get
course.
you mine.
All right.
Right
That's
away.
it. I'm going to end our stream. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Even
It's
though it was
almost
a-
empty. Good timing.
I'll tell you
Day.
next time about my involvement with remote viewing.
Oh,
Ooh, a tease.
Yes.